Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a full face of new makeup. It's not quite a full face of first impressions because there are only 3 things that I have not tested out that I would be able to actually give you a first impression on. I basically ordered everything for a full face, and instead of doing like a regular haul, I thought I would do like a try-on haul kind of style. Some of these I've only used twice, or some of these I've used a couple more times than that, but yeah, I thought it would be great to kind of test a couple things out that I already had access to kind of give you a more well-rounded opinion besides the 3 things I absolutely have not tested at all. And I also bought some new BH Cosmetics brushes that I want to use today as well, so I'm very excited. And yeah, full disclosure, right now it's the middle of the month. I have used some of these products a few times now, so just letting you know, in my next video, which is going to be my favorites video, some of these products will have made it to that video because I've actually really fallen in love with quite a few of these things already. But I wanted to give you a heads up in case you like watch this video and then you watch next week's video and you're like, wait, why is she talking about that already? She just talked about it last week. But no, I have been trying a couple of these items out for a little bit now. So yeah, without further ado, if you want to see everything kind of apply to the face in a try-on style, don't forget to please subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell so you know when I post, and without further ado, let's go ahead and get on into it. First things first, I gotta put the hair back. Okay, so for primer, this is a really interesting one. This is the Ordinary High Adherence Silicone Primer. This is a super inexpensive primer. I have used this once before. I don't know exactly how I feel. Oh my god, cloud just covered the sun. Did you see how dark it got just now? Okay, while we're in the dark for like a second, I hope the lighting is still okay. I am going to prime the skin with this. This is under $5, extremely affordable, and you can see it kind of comes out like a white silicone-y primer. And The Ordinary is a brand that you can find at Sephora, I believe. For a while it was gone, but I believe it is back. That is where I purchased this from, but I believe it's online only. Oh, there's the sun again. Thank you. Honestly, I don't notice much blurring, but I will say the first time I used this under my makeup, I feel like my makeup really did last the entire day, so that's good. I have not used all of these products before in conjunction with one another, I will say. So this whole look that I'm going to create today of all new products is the first time I'm going to put all of these new products to the test at once on my face. Okay, for foundation, this is something that I'm so excited about. I feel like I have a lot of underrated gems in this video that not a lot of people talk about, or at least I don't hear a lot of people talking about. This is the Note Cosmetics Mattifying Extreme Wear Foundation SPF 15 in the shade 4 Sand. I bought this at Ulta online, and Note Cosmetics I think is one of those brands that's in between, like, it's not super high-end and super expensive, but it's not drugstore either. Like, this foundation was $17, which I feel like is literally right in the middle between those 2 ranges. And the shade range isn't the absolute best, but I read nothing but great reviews about this foundation, especially if you have oily skin. I believe they have like a dewy one as well, but yeah, I have not tried this with a beauty blender. I've only tried this with a brush, and I really like the consistency of it. I love that it has a pump, and it is like a plastic bottle, so it's not going to break as easily as a glass bottle. I'm going to pump 1, 2 on the back of my beauty blender. I'm just going to kind of dot that all over the face. And you can see this is a pretty good color match. I did buy this online, as I said, so I got lucky with the fact that it matched my color. I was kind of debating there for a while. When I wore this the first time, I was instantly impressed. Like, it lasted all day, and it just looks so beautiful. Like, I'm usually someone who has to touch up throughout the day. Sometimes I don't because I'm lazy, but I definitely get oily in my T-zone throughout the day. And when I used this, I didn't. It was great. You can see with one layer on a beauty blender how nice my skin looks. It's overall way more even. I would say this definitely has full coverage because I used a sponge and it still provided a really nice base. I love this foundation. I think it is so good. Ooh, I'm so excited that I have it now. For concealer, this one's a really interesting one because I love this product already as well. This is the e.l.f. 16-Hour Camo Concealer. This is a brand new product, so I'm happy to be testing it out for you guys. I feel like there are so many new concealers that have hit the market basically like all at once, like the Fenty concealer, which I didn't buy, I haven't bought. The Milani concealer, which I did a full day wear test on, I'll link that down below. The Morphe concealer, which I don't have. The e.l.f. concealer. There's a new Smashbox concealer. There's a bunch of different concealers on the market. And this one I got in the shade Medium Sand. fan. I will say the shade range is pretty good. I bought this initially to be a spot concealer, and I'm not sure if this is intentional, but this is very light for medium. Like, you can see how light that is. So I would take their shade names with a grain of salt, unless maybe they just mislabeled mine, but that is not medium. Like, this is very much light. I got this and I was shocked. I was like, okay, like I can use it as a highlighting concealer, I guess. But yeah, I love this concealer. I think on top of the packaging being very similar to Shape Tape, this is the closest dupe to Shape Tape on the market. I know everybody said that the Makeup Revolution concealer, this one was a dupe when it came out, and I honestly don't think so. I mean, the applicator was similar as well, but that one is way more dewy. This one is very matte, very full coverage, and you're gonna see as we blend it out, this dries very fast, so you're gonna have to work fast to blend this in. But with that being said, I think this is a great concealer. It's $5, and it blends out really nicely, but it gives you very good coverage. I'm very impressed with this. I would say if you have dry skin though, you might want to use a really good eye cream to prep your under eyes. And you know how I normally say, oh, I'm gonna bring it up to the eyelid, which is what I'm doing right now, to prime, but I actually have a new eyeshadow primer. So we're going to be using that as well today. Do you see how fast that dries though? I was talking way too much and it just dried really fast on my skin. Meh. Okay, so I am very happy with my base right now. And normally when I use a beauty blender, I have to think like, okay, like maybe I should add a little bit more product since it did sheer it out a bit, but I don't feel that way at all. I think my skin looks really nice. This is like a dream cocktail, honestly. And they kind of have similar packaging. So that's really interesting. For powder, I have the ColourPop No Filter Sheer Press Powder in the shade Medium. I hopped on the ColourPop website because I wanted to buy a couple of things, and I thought this would be a great press powder to travel with because it's kind of like my skin tone, so it's not going to give me flashback. And to apply this, I'm just going to use my Equal Tools brush, dunk it in there. Not a lot of product comes out, or it's not super apparent because it is a sheer formula. So if you're someone who doesn't like a full coverage powder that's going to actually add coverage, I think you really might like this. I don't know how I feel about it just yet. I have used this a couple of times and I think it's good. I'm not sure if I'm blown away by it, but I think the packaging's nice. It's $9 and it's a good affordable option. And I don't have a new under eye setting powder, so I'm going to take the Essence Brighten Up Banana Powder because this is like an absolute must. And I'm going to just set under the eyes. I don't know if like me having concealer and powder is going to affect the eyeshadow primer, but we'll see. For bronzer, I have the BH Cosmetics Brilliance Bronzer in the shade Bronze Babe. I hopped on the BH Cosmetics website because I have heard such good things about this bronzer. They have 3 shades. They have like Golden Gal, which is the lightest one, I believe, Bronze Babe, which is the medium shade, and Cocoa Cutie, which is the deepest shade. You can see this is a pretty deep shade. I could definitely go for a shade a little bit lighter than this, but Golden Gal was too like light. And I'm going to be trying out the BH Cosmetics 108 brush. This is not new or anything. It isn't that much kick up in the pan, but I have noticed that when I have used this before, that it just blends out so smoothly. You can see that it just gave me a really nice kind of wash of color. And this is very affordable. This was $10, but I actually got this for I think $5 on sale. BH Cosmetics is always doing really good sales. So going to contour slightly the sides of my nose. So this is very pigmented, so if you ever feel like your lines are too harsh, just take a powder brush and just go over the edges. Actually, when I look more closely at my face, I feel like this brush may have applied my bronzer more choppy than usual. Like I can see a little bit of skipping. I'm not sure if it's something you can tell on camera, but in person, I definitely see it. It's not the experience I've had with this bronzer in the past, so I don't know what's going on. It's probably this brush. Okay, for blush, I'm going to take the Catrice Blush Box. I think this is also a new product. This is in the shade Bronze. They have a few different shades, and I'm going to be taking the BH Cosmetics 110 brush. I really like this blush. It applies so smoothly, And it's not like super harsh all at once. You can really build up the color, but this is a really pretty kind of nudie shade. For those of you wondering why Maple hasn't had an appearance yet in this video, she's actually at the groomers right now, getting her little spa treatment on. I know, I miss her too. I really like that. It's very complimentary for a lot of different eye looks, lip looks, clothes. I think it's a great nude blush, and Catrice is very affordable. For highlight, I'm going to take the ColourPop Super Shock Cheek in the shade On the Cusp. This is a collaboration that Kathleen Lights did with them in the summertime. The best way to apply this is with a dense synthetic brush. Natural hairs will not pick it up as much. So I'm going to be taking the Real Techniques setting brush. And this actually does layer nicely on top of powder. And I'm just going to finagle this on my cheeks. You have to kind of work with the formula if you're not used to it at first. But once you do, like, it is very nice. So this isn't the most user-friendly formula. Again, there is some trial and error, but you can always take your finger and just kind of tap it out to make it look more natural. These you should apply with your finger. I just preferred using a brush, and it does work for me, but you're gonna have to play around with it the first couple of times. Okay, and then I think we're done with the face products for now, besides setting spray, which we will get to at the end. I'm going to quickly fill in my brows with my e.l.f. Instant Brow Lift, and then I'll be right back to apply the brow gel. Okay, so now that our brows are filled in with pencil, I'm going to take the ColourPop Brow Boss Gel. I have been using this for a couple weeks now, and I love it. This is in the shade Dark Brown. I will say, I love the experience of it. I love the size of the wand. They do have a lot of different shades in addition to being clear, so if you like a tinted gel like I do, there's probably a color for you. I will say just kind of wipe off the excess before you go in, because a lot of formula deposits off the brush, but they're really nice to just kind of paint on, and it's very fast. Like, you can just see I just did boop, 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 and I was done. Like, it's great. I love it. Okay, for eyes, I'm going to prime my eyes with the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Amplifying Eye Primer. I'm very excited. I heard that this is a little bit tricky. You kind of have to wait like a couple minutes for it to dry, but let's just go in and see. Ooh, I don't know how much I have to apply. Just going to do that and then tap that on, because I heard if you try to apply shadow when it's wet, it will make the shadow patchy. So you truly have to treat this like a base that you lay down. While that's drying, I'm going to read you the claims because I still have the unit carton right here. It says it boosts color, extends wear, weightless, smoothing, crease proof, and it's in the shade Invisipink. I believe this is the only shade that she has right now for eyeshadow primer. I could be wrong. This was $28, so it's a little bit up there for an eyeshadow primer in my opinion, but it is high end, so I don't know. And the packaging is just so cute. I love it. I love her product aesthetic. And I'm going to be using the Lottie London Shadow Swatch palette. This is not a new palette, but it's one that I actually have been wanting to get for a long time. Lottie London is one of the more underrated brands, I feel, at Ulta. It's kind of inexpensive. This was $13 or $14 for this palette, and it kind of reminds me of the Naked Heat palette just a little bit. You have a lot of warm shades and then a couple of cool shades too. I think I want to do something more in the cool tone realm today because I'm going to be using a cool tone lip. When I swatch these, the mattes swatch very nicely, very pigmentedly. The shimmers are a little bit chunky, but they do have a decent amount of pigmentation. They're not crazy pigmented. They're not an Anastasia shadow, obviously. But with that being said, I've read really good reviews about this, and I think it's a great travel palette if the colors do blend really nicely, and you can get a variety of different looks, as I mentioned. So for this part, because this video is already super long, I'm just going to point to the shades, and we're putting a little music, and that way we're not going to be here for forever. There is kick up in the pan though. I just put my brush in, so these are softer eyeshadows. Okay, wow, I love this look. And I love this palette. I don't know if it's the primer that's making my eyeshadow pop, but you saw that when I went in with this shade right here with my finger all over the lid, like, it just pops so much. Like, I'm shocked. Everything blended really smoothly. It's got to be the shadows too. I think it's a combination of both. The only thing I will say about this palette is that you don't have a black, but this is a dark like charcoal that I think works really well still. And you don't have like a bright white shade that's a shimmer or a matte. I use a lot of these mattes as a transition, and you can see that this is pretty much split down the middle between cool tones and warm tones, which I think is great. This packaging is like sturdy plastic. I think this is a win in my book. I absolutely love this look. What do you guys think? I love it. Okay, I'm going to curl my eyelashes. And for mascara, I have the new Essence Lashes of the Day Super Volume Mascara. This is one that I've wanted to buy for a while. Again, Essence mascaras are very affordable. They're my favorite affordable mascaras. This is the wand right here. This was $5, I believe, and I already love this mascara. Like, watch. Look at that already. It's such a good formula. You can see how much drama that gave my lashes. For someone who has relatively short-ish straight lashes, I rely on a good mascara, and I think this is so nice. And this is a relatively new formula, new addition to their line, and I think it's one of the best, honestly. Really quickly, I'm going to go back into that ColourPop highlight that we used, and I'm just going to pop a little bit on my brow bone and on my inner corners. These are definitely a cream, obviously. I don't know if I mentioned that. So they're a little bit trickier to work with than a powder. But because they are cream, the plus side to that is that they're not going to ever look powdery on the skin, obviously. They're not going to look chunky or heavy. Like, they just look like they're melted into your skin, especially after we go in with the setting spray. Okay, and then for lips, I have the ColourPop Ultra Satin Lip in the shade 0.0, which I'm actually wearing the 0.0 nail polish. This is developed by Kathleen Lights and ColourPop, and I've wanted this color for a while. This is definitely not new, but it's new to me, and it's a beautiful, like, cool tone gray brown color, and as I said, I'm wearing the nail polish, which I'm so corny matching, but I painted my nails last night, and I was like, hey, why don't I use 0.0, and I did, so yeah. The Ultra Satin Lips are one of my favorite affordable formulas. They're so good, and they don't dry down all the way matte. Ooh, yes. Ooh, I love that color, and I think it pairs so nicely with the eyes. Ooh. Okay, and then last but not least, for setting spray, I have the Essence Insta Matte makeup setting spray with Evermatte technology, oil-free, non-sticky, lightweight. This is 1.69 fluid ounces, and I believe it was $5, and I think it's a great size to travel with. Alright everyone, and that is it for today's video with this cool tone, kind of get ready with me. I really hope you enjoyed kind of watching me try out a bunch of new makeup, or using a bunch of new makeup and giving you my thoughts on it. I really truly like all of these things, some a little bit more than others. Like this palette I tried for the first time today with you guys on camera, and I cannot get over how beautiful this shade just applied all over my lids. Like, I do not remember being so wowed by a shimmer shade, and it's funny because when I swatched it, I thought, oh, it's like whatever. So that just goes to show, do not base your opinions of a makeup product or prejudge something just by swatches. You have to apply them to the eyes because they might surprise you either way. So this palette is great. The mascara is amazing. The lip color I think is great. The formula I already know I love, so I think it's a really nice, fun addition to my collection since I have so many nudes and more pinkish mauvish shades that cool tone lips are something that I think are actually quite flattering that I'd like to dabble more in. Brow gel is fantastic. This bronzer is really nice. I think today that brush that I applied it with made it a little bit patchy, so I don't know if I'll be reaching for this again to apply it. But overall, I think it's a nice bronzer. This blush, A+. This highlight is definitely a little bit tricky, but you can see the glow that it gives my face and that it can give, like, you look at my inner corners, like they're just like bing. So I think you have to play around with this. If you're not into using a brush, a finger would definitely be a good method to use when applying something like this because it is a cream to powder product. This primer I think is really nice. It did smooth out my skin, not incredibly so. Like I have seen primers that have smoothed out my skin more, but this is under $5 and I think it's definitely a great base, and I think it does make my makeup last for a long time when I did try it out once before. It's concealer, an A+, foundation, A+. I love it. The spray I think is really nice. It did kind of mattify my skin, but it doesn't look super cakey and dried out, if you know what I mean. And this powder is like, it's good. It's not my absolute favorite. It's definitely something that I think I would travel with because it is that flesh toned shade. But yeah, so I wasn't planning on doing any check-ins or anything, but I just thought that since we're at the end of the day, it's currently 5 p.m. and I'm about to wash this off and take a bath. I wanted to check in and show you just how everything... I'm absolutely still matte. The only thing that looks crusty is like my lip area because I've been eating, but you can see my skin looks so good. I know it's a combination of everything that I used, but I'm very, very pleased with the performance of everything. And yeah, I just wanted to come on here and show you guys what it looks like. Okay. Back to the video. Comment down below, what do you think of this look? What do you think of these products if you've tried them before? But thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, please, if you enjoyed it. And hopefully I will see you in my next one. Mwah. Bye.